decided.
Once more, that's
All right, everyone. I wanted to go out tonight, and I'm probably not going to get back until quite a bit later than usual. So I thought, like, I might come on and do a stream later. I might not. It depends on what happens, what I want to do. So I thought that I would just go ahead and get the live stream done early because I'm not leaving until later anyway. So here we are with the Princess of Beast stream. I'm going to go see Princess Mononoke, and it's going to be great. I haven't seen the movie in theaters ever. I've been wanting to for over a decade, and every single time I try to do it, there's always been like something like preventing me. Usually my work schedule, or I forget, or like something happens. But no, we're actually going, and I am so excited. I had not seen this movie in I think like probably a decade. Honestly, it's been a while. I've seen Kiki like several times in the past decade for some reason, even though I hate that movie. So watching Princess Mononoke, my favorite Ghibli film, honestly, probably one of my favorite movies ever. Maybe. I'm actually not sure. I like when I saw it, I thought it was one of my all-time favorites, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe not. I've grown to really hate Ghibli over the years, so Mononoke might be like the one exception. But We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll like do a review of it like after the fact, probably. You know, like I did with Kiki. Like when I did Kiki, like I remember I like walked home from the theater, like and live stream like how much I hated it. Like I was so fed up with Kiki and her bullshit. She is so annoying. She is so unlikable. It's like it's so weird. Like watching that movie, how much it like fetishizes like young girls. It's just I just don't care for it at all. It just pisses me off. But like yeah, Kiki has no plot. Nothing really happens in it. It's like it looks garbage. The characters are unlikable. Like things just kind of happen. It's like it's it's so frustrating. Like I love Kiki when you just kind of put it on in the background and you don't pay attention to it. Like, you know, the vibes are awesome. Like if you're not really paying attention to it, but like if you are, you just kind of hate the characters and like the setting and like the setup. So like I'm curious like how I'm gonna come away feeling about like Princess Mononoke because you know over the past decade I've kind of grown a distaste for Ghibli slop. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested in seeing what I think about it. But like, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, so like, in the I get is it Ghibli Fest already? Like, is that how it works? Because like I think they're showing like Ponyo next week, and then like The Wind Rises 2 weeks after that. I don't remember what the third one is. So like, I don't know. I hated The Wind Rises. Like when I owned that movie, I bought it and I just thought it was like such bullshit. Like, like I fucking hated The Wind Rises. Oh yeah, The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, yeah, it's The Boy and the Heron. So it's like Mononoke, Kino, Ponyo, which I haven't seen, The Boy and the Heron, which I'm almost like 100% certain is going to be bullshit, and then like you have The Wind Rises, which is bullshit. So like I'm very curious like what's gonna happen. Like yeah, it's gonna be fun, but like yeah, like obviously I'm not gonna be like active and like streaming and like making content. So like because of this movie, right? So like yeah, it's a pretty long one. So like I'm actually not sure how long I'll be out, but like um it's yeah, I do have to like I did want to like do an early stream and like kind of talk about like what's been happening over the past couple of days because there is like something really interesting that like I think a lot of people have not acknowledged and have not talked about. Let's see here. So yeah, Nintendo stock prices are indeed going up. You know, this is a slight increase over the past couple of days, but like what you have to understand is, let's see, 5 days, is that generally like it's trending back upward after like its slight decline over the past 5 months. So basically, what you're seeing here is that like people are spurging out about them about these stock prices, even though generally they are trending upwards. You know, you can see this here. You know, 5 years. Look how much it's gone up in the past 5 years. Like generally they are trending upwards. So like the entire conspiracy theory that like Nintendo was going downhill or that they're failing is or that they're like the Switch 2 isn't doing well. It's all like falling apart. You know, if you actually pay attention to this, like not even in the short term, but like long term, like this was not a big deal at all. Like this is just a typical like post-holiday drop, in my opinion. Like every other company has had a drop, post-holiday. But like it was Nintendo that the industry tried to rally behind and like make a big deal about it. Like Clownfish TV is let's see, where the hell is it? Nintendo stock drops 33%. Is the Switch 2 failing? Yeah, you fucking retard. Yeah. Yeah, the best-selling console ever, with all these successful games and a Nintendo Direct in the near future. Yeah, it's failing, sure. So like, yeah, like a little bit late, by the way, because they made this video today, I think. Yeah, 14 hours ago, yesterday, when the stock was already going back up. And these retards, they struck while the iron was like ice cold, like they were a couple of days late for this. And like, I'm sure like a lot of people are already clowning on them in the comments. I'm certainly clowning on them. Like, and I can't reiterate this enough. Like, I feel as if Clownfish TV has completely killed the anti-woke movement because they are like the very definition of everything wrong with this industry, where like they doom and gloom about everything, they make shit up, they misrepresent things, they like get uppity about shit that does not matter. Like they're like as bad or worse than like Stuttering Craig. And honestly, I want to say they're worse because like Stuttering Craig can at least like pretend to be a fan of Nintendo and like pretend to be someone with credibility, you know, because of his history, like creating Super Attack and all that. Like these guys have nothing, you know, you never see them talk about Nintendo. All they do is like complain about like Princess Peach Showtime's box art, and like try and show Power World. They are like the lowest of the low when it comes to Nintendo coverage. And honestly, like their coverage of Nintendo has made me not trust them when it comes to talking about like other other situations in the industry, particularly when it comes to like Kathleen Kennedy or Star Wars or anything of that like. You know, Clownfish TV is absolutely the worst. They are downright terrible. And it's just so obnoxious how people are like making this out to be some major deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In reality, the Switch 2 has sold like 4 million units in Japan. You know, like it's a bestseller there. Like every single bestseller game on like the Famitsu sales charts is a Nintendo Switch game. Which, by the way, people are actually starting to say this, and I've been thinking this for a while too. The Famitsu most wanted charts have to be complete bullshit. You know, I feel like a lot of Japanese game publications are straight up trying to show PlayStation, trying to show Expedition 33, trying to show Toby Fox, because like there was this weird like top 100 like poll a while back from some website or some magazine or something, and it tried putting like Undertale on there, and it tried saying like it didn't have a single Dragon Quest game on the list, and it's just like it doesn't look like a Japanese list. You know, like it feels like, you know, Westerners are trying to like take over the Japanese industry and like try and manipulate public discourse about them. So like I don't believe like Famitsu Most Wanted anymore. I don't trust these people. Like they don't have like the credibility that they used to. And like that's been true for a while, you know, ever since they gave Skyrim like a 10 out of 10. But like um it's very, very interesting to kind of see that like um the industry is working overtime to try and downplay the Switch 2, even though it's like overwhelmingly successful. It's kind of ridiculous to see just like what how badly Nintendo is stomping the competition right now, and like seeing just how they go about their business. Like I'm not sure when their next shareholders meeting is. I'll have to check. I think it's going to be in like the next couple of months. I'll be very interested in seeing like the actual software and hardware sales, because you just know like no matter how high they are, like you're gonna see people say that they're not good enough. You know, the Switch 2 is already confirmed to be the fastest selling console ever. People are still downplaying it. You know, Mario Kart World was already successful. People are already downplaying it. I just don't know how long this can continue. And like you already have people like trying to say that like Furukawa is a snake who's lying to people, and it's just like I do feel like it's on the way out, honestly. Like I do feel like we're kind of seeing like the dying throes of like the Nintendo hate community, because like it there just isn't any real enthusiasm for something like Expedition 33, in my opinion. Like Expedition 33 is never, ever, ever going to steer people away from Nintendo games, right? In general, like it's like kind of adorable how like they spent all of 2024 like downplaying Mario and Luigi's Brothership, saying it was shit, and then like hyping up some cheap knockoff from France. You know, it's just it's unbelievable, and like it's getting worse all the time. I feel like, you know, if Grand Theft Auto 6 is delayed again, and they try to give it to like some random like AAA game, like or some random indie game, like you know, in the height of the Switch 2, like it's gonna be very, 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 very hard to take what they see to take what they say seriously. Honestly, like I feel as if like we're kind of in the cusp of like the entire just like cope and grift just kind of falling apart. Like it's where we're at the point where people are like crying about share prices, right? The price of the stock. Yeah, we are in like a massive cope and seethe cycle. People just can't accept the Switch 2 won. Like, because they knew, like, this is the first time that like a Nintendo console has won a console generation like twice in a row, like ever. Like traditionally there was always this narrative that like, well, the PS1 won, the PS2 won, like the PS3 won. That was the mindset. Even though that like the Nintendo handhelds won all those console generations, the narrative was always that like PlayStation is king, PlayStation wins. And then like, that collapsed like completely with the Switch generation, where like everything kind of came together and like people just stopped playing PlayStation. Like not just because of Nintendo's successes, but of PlayStation's failures. And like they just haven't been able to recover from that. Like they really thought that like the culture around hating Nintendo would like sustain them like indefinitely, and that's just proving themselves not to be the case. It is very strange to see the lengths that like some people are going to try and keep like the Nintendo grift going. So here we have Clownfish TV. Let's watch their Nintendine. Yeah, he didn't show up. They lied to us about Metro 5. I didn't actually watch his beat 'em up videos. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Nintendo stock is dropping. It's dropped 33% in the last 5 months in Japan. Yikes. Yeah, and I think what's going on is this is all tied in with the RAM increases, the price increases.
But the price increases of what? The price increases of what? Like, it's just like, so you're complaining about something that hasn't happened yet.
The technology industries right now are kind of panicking, especially in computers, because of the price of RAM, the price of components. They're tying it to AI. I think, maybe, but I think it's just there's a lot of things going on here. We're going to talk about it because it's not just Nintendo. A lot of other
obviously. So this is my thing about this. Why I have such a problem with this narrative is that like, you're going to argue that like people are being spooked by like the lack of games and like rising prices and all that. But that would apply to the entire industry, not just Nintendo. So like, what are you talking about? Like if everything is getting more expensive, it's not going to affect Nintendo alone, but yet they're making videos about Nintendo specifically to try and push this narrative that the Switch 2 is failing. And it's just a joke.
On the pinch, Asus just stopped making the 5060 graphics cards, and now people are going back to 3060s, which is crazy. And DDR5 RAM prices are insane if you can even get those chips, and now people are going back not to DDR4s but to DDR3s. We're talking several years ago.
Even beyond that, as far as gaming is concerned, people are just like going and buying retro consoles and stuff like that now too, because I think it's beyond the graphics and all that is the whole idea that Nintendo or Sony or whatever can come in and just lock and brick your system.
I don't think people like ever stop buying retro consoles. I don't understand this grift. This idea that like, well, people hate modern Nintendo, so they're going to go back and play old Nintendo games. Yeah. I did that back in like the 2000s. Why? Because I wanted to play the old Nintendo games. It's not some like massive conspiracy. Like what typically happens is that you become a Nintendo fan and then you discover that like, oh wait, there are all these games that like most people don't know anything about. So you end up like, buying all this old hardware and getting all these games. Like, what's happening is that more people are discovering classic Nintendo, the classic Nintendo that's been buried for like the past 15 years. Because there have been so many like classic games that have come out in that time frame that have just been like buried under this idea that like it's not a AAA game, it's not a real game, it's slop, it's lazy, it's derivative. And in actuality, they're like some of the best games that have been produced in recent years. Way better than any of the Game of the Year winners. So like it's very, very interesting how they spin this like very obvious, clear thing that like more people are getting invested in like classic Nintendo hardware and their history and their legacy of games, of software, and like trying to spin it as being a negative against modern Nintendo. Because obviously the people who are into old Nintendo games are going to eventually buy new things. And this is the problem with that, is that it doesn't have to happen right away. Like, not everyone buys games at the same time, and that's just the reality of it, is that we all have like different things we want to play and different things we want to experience. So like it comes off as just completely fake, like the way they present this is that, like, oh yeah, people are so mad at Nintendo, they're buying older games. Like,
You pay $100, they can brick it because they don't like something you do, or they have to know what you're doing at all times. You have to be connected to them at all times so they can change things.
Okay. Usually when people bitch about like Clownfish TV, they're specifically talking about Neon. And I agree that like Neon is ridiculous and he's a spurg and that he's a fucking autistic retard. But at least you can understand what he's saying. Like, I have no idea what this bitch is talking about. She's slurring her words. She's like not making herself clear. She's not enunciating. She is a fucking spurg. She's a spaz. Like, what the hell? Okay.
The graphics and all that is the whole idea that, Nintendo or Sony or whatever can come in and just, you brick your system.
Okay. So this is like peak retardation from these people. Okay. Bricking your console. When does bricking happen? When you illegally mod or pirate software on your console. That's it. That's perfectly reasonable for them to do, right? Because they don't want you doing that, because, you're a customer and that's, it's against their TOS. But like, for some reason, these guys have this like weird entitled worldview where they're just like, no, I should be able to mod my Nintendo hardware. I should be able to pirate games and like do all this. Like, no. Absolutely not. Like that's not
acceptable. Because they don't like something you do, or they have to know what you're doing at all times. You have to be connected to them at all times so they can change things in real time or watch what you're doing or investigate misbehavior or whatever. Where if you're on an old school system, you don't have any of that.
Yeah, that is
because they're not connected to the internet. Does she think that like Miiverse wasn't moderated? Do you think they weren't already like taking the they shut down Swapno back in the day, right? Because like pedophiles were using it to like try and prey on children. Like this isn't a new thing. Like these guys act like this is some unreasonable thing. Like, oh, we're all adults. Oh, we can all be trusted. No, you have proven that you can't be trusted with this kind of technology. That you can't be trusted to do certain things, and that's why they have to lock it down. Like, you are a fucking criminal. Why the hell is it?
It's a huge issue, I think.
Doing or investigate misbehavior or whatever. Where if you're on an old school system, you don't have any of that.
Yeah, that is a huge issue, I think, for the Switch too. And we're going to talk about why the stock is dropping here. It's not just the prices. You're correct. I think there's been a lot of backlash toward the Switch 2 and Nintendo in general.
No, there hasn't. It is a vocal minority of people online. It does not matter. It does not. It does not like. It's not amounting to actual sales at all. Like, this isn't impacting their numbers. This isn't like impacting the sales of their games. Like, basically, this is like kind of a last ditch effort to try and kill Nintendo's from like the grip. To try and kill Nintendo from the grift community. That's basically all we're seeing here. And yet, people like this want to make it seem like it's a mass like consumer revolt when like. Pretty much everybody is like very, very happy with the Switch 2. Like, pretty much everyone. Anybody who says they aren't is lying to you or doesn't own one.
General, with the whole game card fiasco, you don't really own
your
games anymore.
Nobody cares.
They don't want
Nobody
you to own your
fucking cares about the game cards. Again, really good example. Like, just buy digitally. It's a non-issue
anymore. It's really aggravating. I loved it when you just bought the cartridge, put it in the machine. It was a complete game. You owned it. You weren't online. And people are going back and buying retro consoles. Again, the 3DS is doing.
Gotta love this like online personality who makes all of his money online complaining about like online features. What a fucking boomer.
Doing really well in the secondary market, selling for like $200-300 now, which is insane. But yeah, we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. And this comes from Video Games Chronicle. Nintendo's share price has dropped 33% in the last 5 months in Japan. Uncertainty over potential price increases may have contributed to the decline. I think Nintendo is kind of a damaged brand right now, personally. But
A damaged brand. What a fucking dipshit. Like, it's like, you look at Star Wars for like a damaged brand. You look at like Disney. You look at like shit that's like at a point of like no return. Like you look at situations like this where like the stock price is already going back up. Like, it is downright absurd how desperate they are to push their narrative. It's ridiculous.
It said, as noted by GameSpark, Nintendo's share price dropped to 62.70 on Tuesday, the first time the prices dropped below 10,000 yen since April of 2025.
Yeah. Okay, what happened in April 2025, you retard? Like, the stock price massively spiked, and now it's going back down. Like, not even to like where it was at that point. It's still higher than what it was. But like, you are in complete denial that like Nintendo is on the up and up. Like, you just don't understand.
93.23. So yeah, that's a huge drop.
Yeah, it's a big drop.
The highest share price ever for the company. And that's when they're riding high on the Switch 2.
Again, that was the highest. I mean, that's not the average. So it's not as much of a plummet when you average it out, but still, that's a lot. I mean, even if it's $20, that's still significant.
Now, they're bringing up, and I can bring this up again, console sales sucked this year at Christmas. They were not good. And actually, the Dark Horse.
Like, is this actually true? Because it feels like they're specifically talking about Xbox and PlayStation here, especially Xbox. Like, Nintendo Switch 2, from what I can see, is doing fine. All the numbers we've seen like seem to indicate it's doing like very, very well. So like this idea that like consoles across the board are doing well, like it seems to conflict very strongly with reality. Is that like the Switch 2 is doing well? Like, who are they trying to fool with this? Like I know I've said this before, but there's this huge conflict between like best-selling console ever and having a bad holiday season. It doesn't make any sense. Like that's the reality. Like, what's actually happening is that PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X sales are tanking, and Nintendo consoles are doing fine. Like, that's the reality of it. But like, yeah, these chuckleheads have to like misrepresent the situation to try and push their narrative.
All this wound up being the Next Playground, which is basically a Kinect box. It's a little tiny cube that.
Yeah, people with parents are buying those up like crazy.
Yeah, well, that's why we bought the Xbox 360 back in the day. It was for the Kinect for the kids, and they loved it. They used to have their friends over for like birthday parties and stuff, and they would do the Kinect party and Kinect Adventures and all that. And it was a lot of fun. We used to do Just Dance and and then they just stopped doing it.
I love how these guys like seriously try to push this idea that like Nexus is like a viable competitor with Nintendo. It's like retarded. It's like some toy that like that's like $100 or something, and you pay a subscription fee for it, I believe. So like it was just like kind of a holiday fad, basically. That's not going to have any real long-term momentum, and that's very obvious. But like the retardation of comparing this to a Nintendo console is just laughably stupid.
Over for like birthday parties and stuff, and they would do the Kinect party and Kinect Adventures and all that. And it was a lot of fun. We used to do Just Dance and and then they just stopped doing it. They stopped focusing on playing. It's kind of like even Nintendo, like they had the Wii and they had all these great games for the Wii, and everybody was like really active in the 2000s playing games, and then they're just like, yeah, let's just go back to just making game consoles.
Does he think Nintendo doesn't produce like motion controlled games? Like Nintendo Switch Sports did like 10 million units. Like Nintendo Switch Sports was huge. Like, what's with this retardation that like you keep seeing these boomers do this? Is that like, motion controls aren't a thing anymore? They don't exist. Nobody uses them. And I'm just like, bro, I play ARMS. I play Nintendo Switch Sports. What are you talking about? Like, Metroid Prime 4 had motion controls. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Don't just sit your fat ass on the couch and play the game, and then we're gonna milk you. We're gonna milk you for revenue every month. You're gonna have to become a subscriber.
What?
But, console sales
every month. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Nintendo Switch Online is a yearly subscription for like $50. It's nothing.
Were terrible this year. The Xbox obviously was down like 70%, but even the Switch 2. They said they expected the Switch 2 to be the huge seller this Christmas, and it wasn't.
And they actually that's probably why you could find them.
You can find
them
all
they
over the
made
place,
enough, or they were everywhere because no one wanted them.
You keep seeing them try this trick. Is that like, you can find Switch 2s everywhere? No, they're just stocking more of them because it's selling more. It's just such a weird cope. Like it just don't like it's unbelievable how far they'll stretch this line that like the Switch 2 isn't doing well this season. It is retarded. And like it's gonna be so satisfying when this narrative inevitably collapses. I can't stand cloud.
So here's my take on the Switch 2, and I've told people this before. We bought one. I kind of felt, I guess, obligated. You said, hey, they got one at Walmart, and we kind of waffled on it for a while, but I'm like, well, if we're going to review this stuff, we probably should buy one.
Well, it was you. You were the one that wanted it. The kids didn't care. So.
I have played it twice.
Twice.
We got it. And I'll tell you
well, you better play some more because I paid a lot for it.
But I still play the Switch 1 more. I'll tell you the truth. I tried playing some of my Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, and since I play mostly like retro pixel-based games, they look like ass on the Switch 2.
What?
They're all blurred out, and but beyond that,
what are you talking about? What are you playing? Like, I just went through all of I beat Double Dragon the past couple of days. Looks fine on Switch 2. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Like they don't have any killer apps. They don't have any.
Mario Kart World is a killer app. What are you talking about? What is with these people not understanding how big Mario Kart World is? Like this is the most insane cope I've ever seen. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like one of the best-selling games ever. Mario Kart Wii outsold like GTA 4. Like, what is this insane cope from these out-of-touch retards about like Nintendo Switch 2? Like, well, it doesn't have a killer app. Like Mario Kart World, Bonanza, like Mario Kart World by itself is like the biggest game this year, honestly. Like long term, it's gonna outperform like the COD title. Like, this is embarrassing. This is like one of like the very clear testaments as to how out of touch these people are. Like, again, we go through this like every Mario Kart release where guys just go like they kind of sneer at it and they're just like, oh, it's the like. Remember when Mario Kart 8 first came out and they tried to tell you it was like the worst selling Mario Kart ever? Like that was like an actual Polygon article, and then like it turned out to be like one of the best. So it's like this is like the dumbest fucking thing. Like, I am so sick of hearing this. And like that's not even accounting for Bonanza, which I think also serves as a killer app. So you technically have like two killer apps, okay? And then you have like, games that are also on Switch 1, Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends, both of which are great. And then you have like, Kirby Air Riders, which is a nice alternative to Mario Kart. So like you have like good games on the console. Like, again, I'm someone who put like 2,000 hours into like Nintendo Switch games this year, okay? It was like, no, I think it wasn't quite 2000. It was like 1997 or something. Like 1997 hours into like a Nintendo Switch games this year. Like you saw like how much I was playing this thing this year. Okay. Like the idea that there are no games on it is just downright laughable. Like, anytime I see someone do that, like try to make that claim, it just says more about them than it says about the console, honestly. Especially when you have this retard like, oh, I only play retro games. Like, well, okay, but those are on Switch as well. Like,
must have games. Like, okay, you got another Mario Kart. Okay.
What? Another Mario Kart? It's been a decade since the last one. Like, what are you talking about? Another Mario Kart? Like, when was the last Donkey Kong game we got? What was the last 3D Donkey Kong game you got? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're complaining about sequels to like decade-old properties. Like, what are you talking about?
Kong. And, then just upgrades to other games. And I don't think there was enough motivation for people to buy a new system. It was like the Switch 2 is basically like a PlayStation Pro. It was like it's slightly better than the last one, but it's not exactly an earth-shattering must-have thing, right?
No. But what you like, too, is you got a Dreamcast.
Yeah, I like the Dreamcast.
Holy fucking
you had
shit.
your Atari from last time, like you had the
7800, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got some games for that. And then, of course, you have your N64 the kids got you a few years before
Which I
that.
play often, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you have a choice... I know I was getting you a Game Boy because that's your new thing. Well, you said you were going to...
Like, Do they not know that like N64 games are on like Switch too? It's like it's just such an insane cope. Like the idea that like, well, I have all this old shit, so I don't need a Switch 2. Like, yeah, you don't need a Switch 2, but like, you know, if you want to play the games, you're gonna have to get one or like a modern Nintendo console. It's like, what are you talking about?
Get one of those.
Oh, the mod. Yeah, I talked about Mod Retro. We're gonna get one, probably review it. They're making the Chromatic, which is a new Game Boy. It's in third party, but they're actually releasing new games. And again, it's completely offline. You just put your cartridge in, play it. That's all you do.
What is with these people shilling like this off-brand shit that nobody cares about? Like Review Tech USA did this too. Is that like, well, why would I get a Switch when I could play on a Steam Deck? And then like he just buys all these handheld PCs, doesn't use any of them. Right? It's like the same energy. Like this is Review Tech USA tier. Honestly, like it's just as ridiculous. And why doesn't YouTube work properly? Like when I hit play, it should just play. Like why does it have to reload? It's just like who is working at YouTube? Like how did they screw this up?
Some people want to play online games with others so they can have that, communication, but anymore some of it's so toxic. Why would you want to?
Yeah.
But the whole idea, I think, for most people is that the censorship or the...
What censorship? What censorship? What are you talking about? Okay. So this is something that keeps coming up in the anti-woke community, like the allegation that like Nintendo is aggressively censoring like their games and third-party games. It's not true at all. It never has been true. It's just a giant cope to try and downplay the company and the hardware. It's like it is downright retarded, like how insistent they are that this is happening, even though they admit they don't play Nintendo games, they don't know anything about the hardware, they don't know anything about the games. Like they're just straight up making it up. Like this is something that honestly hasn't been true since like Mortal Kombat in the 90s. Okay, like it's just a gigantic cope.
Idea, I think, for most people is that the censorship or they're going to watch everything you do and they can brick your machine, and you have to go through them for every little thing. And I think any infraction could cause you, all kinds of problems, and it's just not worth the stress of I might have done something I didn't mean to. So people are just, plus the other games are better.
What other games?
Less convoluted, so they go and play what's been popular for years is still going to be popular, and then that's not going to help stock for gaming companies much. Mm-hmm. Because unless they were smart, they would bring back retro consoles. They would bring back or make new.
They're literally re-releasing the Virtual Boy this year. Like you can't go any more retro than that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they have Nintendo Classics. Like, the entire cope of like, well, I could buy like old hardware. Like, bro, like. That shit is like expensive. It's antiquated. Like if you have it lying around fine and it's still functional fine, but like relying on it incessantly when like you have like a reasonable alternative on like modern hardware, it's just a giant cope. Like it's just downright delusional.
New games for the retro consoles. They were smart like other people. They would do these things, but they don't do that. And had they done stuff like that, maybe their stock would have gone up. But
yeah, that's what killed the mini consoles. Nintendo had a good thing going with the mini consoles when they released the NES and the Super